Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Freelancers Tea Break, the short, sweet podcast you can enjoy while you're making a cuppa. So I'm really looking forward to diving into today's topic because if you've been a regular listener, you'll know I'd love diving into tech and tools and anything that makes life easier. And recently I've been spending more time discovering what Zoom has to offer. I've been using Zoom for years before COVID and everything happened then. I love Zoom. If somebody says to me, "Oh, can we have a call, but can we do it on Teams?" I will smile, but I will die a little bit inside because I just find Zoom so much easier to use and all the functions are brilliant. So I thought it might be useful to share it because I know a lot of people use Zoom, but they just use it to jump on a call or host a call. And I thought it might be useful to share some of the other things that it does that makes life a lot easier. So this applies to lots of different varieties of freelancers. So anyone that uses it for client meetings, running workshops, collaborating with other freelancers, running workshops, virtually anything like that. So I primarily use it for coaching calls and for workshops. So I think hopefully you'll find some useful tips here. Let's just dive straight in. Oh, actually, before I do that, some of their tools are AI based. Actually, a lot of the tools now are AI based. So I just wanted to remind you that if you are planning to use some of these tools, you need to make sure you get consent from the other people in the meeting. AI is still very divisive and lots of people don't want to use it in their business, which is absolutely fine. So you need to get that permission before you use them because it is feeding what you'll say into their AI machine. So that's something I would encourage you to do. So I'm going to kick off with Zoom's AI companion, seeing as I've just touched on it. So the AI companion is a few different things on Zoom. I initially started using it when I was recording, because I record all of the coaching calls for my clients so that they can have a summary or something to look back on. And I often have a transcript with it. And over the last few years as well, we've had more AI produced notes and coaching notes and things like that. AI Companion is really, really great because, first of all, when you're recording a meeting, after the meeting, you will have the video, it will create a transcript, it will pull out all of the actions that need to be taken, it will clip it into different chapters for you. I've never actually used the clips function, but you could use clips. I suppose if there were, say you're doing a workshop and you wanted to clip a particular element to put on Reels, you could do that. But it also has a really good function that if you are in a meeting and people are going to be jumping in and out, as long as everyone's okay with AI, the AI companion can sit on the right-hand side, and then when people join a meeting, they can ask it questions like, what have I missed? Or is there anything that's been allocated to me? Or what are the main points? And it can catch people up. So it can be really useful for that kind of thing. So it creates real-time meeting summaries, and it can also do clips and action points. It does also feed into tasks, which I will talk about a little bit later. But essentially, it's like a little AI assistant in Zoom that will catch people up. So you don't have to stop the meeting and catch people up on where you're at. I don't actually use this in group calls because partly because a couple of people are not happy with it, comfortable with AI, and that's absolutely fine. But also people tend to be less comfortable sharing lots of information if they feel like AI is listening in, which again, absolutely fine. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is Zoom Whiteboard. And this is something I've been using probably in the last 2 or 3 months, a lot more. A lot of my coaching clients are suspect or have diagnosed ADHD or autism or a whole variety of other neurodiversities like dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, that sort of thing. And the whiteboard can actually provide a good way whilst we're talking to have a visual example of what we're talking about. So quite often I'll get a client who goes, I want to just brainstorm today. So I want to brainstorm all the different things that I'm thinking about. And we will do that on a whiteboard. And so easy to do in Zoom. It's collaborative, so they can add in bits as well. And also they can work on it after the call. And the main reason I really like it is because it means that straight after the call, the client has something to refer to. Whereas otherwise they kind of have to wait for me to do the notes and send it over. This means that they can go straight on. So I've used it brainstorming. We've done mind maps. We've done sort of project timelines. Lots and lots of different things. And I just think it's a great visual tool. But if I have somebody that is less visual but wants notes like straight away, then Zoom Document, fantastic. So that's the next one I wanted to talk about. So Zoom Documents, you can go in there. Again, it has some AI built in it, so it can automatically drop in the coaching notes summary into that document at the end of the call. But you can also be typing things as you go or popping things in there. All of these things, I should say, are depending on the client. I have some clients who we don't want any of the distractions of notes or whiteboards, so we don't. I will follow up with stuff later on, but we will just concentrate on the phone call. But a lot of my clients like the document side. They like that we can have the plan and write down what the goals are, maybe what reflections are on the previous month. It's also really useful that we can pull it up in the next session and go through it and go, okay, what did we tick off? What was achieved? And that can be really, really helpful. I also really like in both Whiteboard and I think in Documents that you can ask AI to add in some bits. So for an example, for the whiteboards, I was talking to a client about, we were looking for sort of like easy, quick meal ideas. So I asked AI to do it for the whiteboard and it created sticky notes, I think about 30 days of sticky notes with lots of different meals on that could be moved around in the whiteboard. And that was so useful. And we could go in and say, no, we don't want that one, do want that one. But it just gave a starting point. So it's really useful for that side of things. I don't find the AI is as good as, say, like ChatGPT at the moment for creating other stuff, but I wouldn't want to do that on a call anyway. So yeah, going back to the documents, it's a great way that you can create a document in real time. I think the other nice thing is that you can create templates or use templates. So you can open up one that they've already got. Again, Whiteboards has this as well. You can have templates there. So I've created a template that I now use for coaching clients that I can kind of keep using over and over again. And it just saves so much time. It's a really great tool. So Whiteboards and Documents, love them. Meeting notes, I touched on that with the AI, that you can record your meetings and it will give you a page with all of the different information. I personally prefer to download the video and pop it in a Google Drive for someone, just because otherwise you spend a huge amount on storage. So I put it in a Google Drive and like a folder for my clients with some of the other information in there, but they've got that access for a few days on Zoom if they need it. But they've also been adding in new things as well, like it will pull out the tasks, but also they've just added tasks onto the options on Zoom. So you can go into tasks and it will pull out all the suggested tasks. You say, yes, these ones are correct, because it's not always spot on. And then it will move it into your tasks tab, and then you could have that in there. I need to double check, actually. I think there is probably a way to sync that with an external tool. But the other thing Zoom has is a lot of workflows, so it can automate a lot of things. Like it can email you bits afterwards. There's all sorts of clever automations. So it's worth having a look at workflows as well if you want to add that kind of level of automation. And what else we've got? Oh, Zoom apps. So Zoom apps is, you click on the bottom when you're in a Zoom call when there's apps, and you can choose from lots and lots of different things. Now, if I'm honest, the one that I primarily use is Timer. I use Timer every Tuesday for my accountability calls with my membership, just so that we can have a timer on my screen that says how long we've got left of that meeting. It's a very simple tool, but it works really well. I also really like name tags by Warmly. It allows you to have like your name and maybe your title, even like the local weather and things like that on your video that other people can see. So it's really good for if you're doing a workshop and that and need professional. And there are lots of other ones as well for polls and collaboration tools. I know there's, I think Asana's on there. There's a few others. I've saw Google Docs on there, so I'm intrigued by that. I haven't explored that yet. And there's lots of game ones. You'll probably know the game ones from all those years during lockdown. Well, both of those years in lockdown where we all spent huge amounts of time on Zoom speaking to our families and friends. So the apps is definitely worth having a little explore and seeing if there's anything in there. There are other tools there that will let you record meeting notes as well. I have used Tactic quite a lot in the past. I have to be honest, actually, though, the last week I have started using Notion AI meeting notes, and I think I might have to do something like this podcast episode for the Notion tools that you maybe didn't know existed, because I think the AI over there for the meeting notes is particularly good. So I'll come back and do that one. But yeah, have a look at the apps and see if you can explore those a little bit more. One tool that isn't in Zoom, but I would recommend getting if you use Zoom a lot, is a Stream Deck. So a Stream Deck is it's a little tool that you have just on your desk. It looks like a little box. Mine, I've got the Stream Deck Mini, which has got 6 buttons, and these are all buttons are like not LED. I can't remember what they are, but the image in the button changes depending on what software you're using. So mine's got 6, but there's some that have like 15 or more. And they're very good if you switch between programs, but you want your shortcuts at your fingertips very quickly. So for example, mine on Zoom has the mute button, the unmute button, the mute everybody button, which is great for workshops, leaving the meeting, recording, and chat. And that's all there in one place so that I can quickly tap on it rather than grabbing the mouse, trying to find the right one at the bottom, and then Zoom's done an update and I can't remember where it is. It's just there. It's very easy. And it's great. It's a great tool because it changes depending on what software you're using. So I might be using, like I'm actually recording this in Descript, and I need to figure out some more shortcuts there, which would make it much, much easier to use. I have one set up for Gmail so that when I'm going through my emails, I've got buttons for particular folders that things can automatically go into, archive, delete, what's it called? Boomerang type thing, where it comes back. So you can add in all those different things. So if you are a heavy user of any kind of software on your computer, but especially Zoom, I would recommend looking at Stream Deck. It makes your life a lot easier. So I'm going to summarize that quickly because I know it's easy for us to get distracted. So the AI companion, very handy in the meetings if people need a catch up on things, and also just providing an AI summary. Whiteboards are a fantastic way of brainstorming, creating mind maps. Again, this has loads of templates in it, loads of different formats. It's really quite a creative tool. Document sharing is really useful. There's also I've never used it, but there's annotation in there as well. So you could be going through like a contract or something together and you could annotate it live. Meeting notes and recording. So being able to record your meetings and have it all in one page and just making it a lot easier, and exploring those Zoom apps plus Stream Deck. So those are the things that I've mentioned in the call today. I'd love to know if there's anything else that I should be trying out in Zoom, or if there's anything you're like, oh, I'm gonna go try that now. I'm really curious. Come join us in the Facebook group, the Freelance Lifestylers, or the Discord, which you can find at freelancelifestyle.co.uk/Discord. Both are free. I just like to give options of people for where they want to hang out. And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Zoom. I will be back next week with another episode. Have a lovely freelance week.